Company this Wednesday morning. Real estate attorney Stephen Meister, real estate agent Tanya Marchiol, former Senator Jim Talent is here to talk about Mitt Romney's bold new jobs plan. I'll challenge him on that one. And Chris Rupke, he's a topic columnist. He's agreed to sit on set with me and argue whether we are in a recession, yes or no. He says no, we're not, and he's wrong. Nicole Petalides at the New York Stock Exchange, watching a very nice market for us, up 163. Nicole, we'll start with you. First stock, Bank of America, bouncing back. Why?
Well, you had Brian Moynihan, the CEO, shaking up management a bit. Sally Krawcheck is out. Also now co-COOs, right? And that's pushing the stock to the upside. You have Montauk and Darnell now as co-COOs. The stock is doing great today. It's up almost 4%, the #1 performer in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. We're all Dow 30 are in the green.
Right. Carol Bartz, summarily fired as CEO of Yahoo. Fired on the phone, I might add. No replacement except an interim replacement, and the stock is up 6%.
Yeah, absolutely. The strategic review is now underway. She says she got it right over the phone from the chairman, basically saying she's fired. She's certainly been under a lot of scrutiny. You can see it now up 6.5%, and all those tech stocks are doing really great today.
All right, back with you for more on that in a moment. First, next one, President Obama. He's reportedly considering a $300 billion package aimed at creating jobs, but most of it is literally more of the same. That's my judgment. What about you, Stephen?
I agree. It's not going to work. Look, we don't need to stimulate demand. We need to stimulate investment. When you have, and you see this every day here, Stuart, gold at $1,800 and long-term treasuries at below 2%, that means that the capital in this country is in the least productive capacity. It's in gold and it's in government bonds, which is like putting it in your mattress. We need to stimulate private investment. How about a moratorium on federal regulations? How about a moratorium on the minimum wage law? How about repealing Obamacare? How about a strong dollar?
He's not going to stand up and repeal Obamacare now, is he?
He's not going to do it, but how about those moratoriums? How about a strong dollar policy? I think we do have to start talking about raising interest rates, Stuart. We need investors to have confidence in the dollar.
Well, look, here's what we've got. He's going to address a joint session of Congress. There's a huge build-up to this thing, and what we know about the plan so far, it looks like a dud. Surely he's going to pull something out of the hat, a big surprise at the last minute, because otherwise it looks like an abject failure.
I don't see what he can do unless he really reverses course. So you say he won't repeal Obamacare, but you know what? There's really, why did he come against the emissions standard and not repeal Obamacare? They both destroy jobs. It's about protecting or preserving his job.
I agree with you, but I don't think we're going to get much really big, bold and new tomorrow night. But I'd love to be surprised. Right, Stephen? Refinancing activity down in the latest week, even though mortgage rates are barely above 4%. By the way, year over year, financing applications for refi is all the way down 35%. Now, that's incredible. What's going on with refi? Why can't people refi?
Well, when you look at refinancing, you have to have equity or you have to be even with what you owe.
Right.
You cannot refinance when you are underwater. Most of these homes are underwater. What can people refinance with? And then they're rating these people off of their credit and other things, which of course we need to rate these people correctly because we don't want to give bad loans like we did.
Right.
But the bottom line is people can't refinance. That is an impossible thing right now. And so all these numbers are low and people are trying to refinance. It doesn't make sense.
Do you agree with me that with the yield on the 10-year Treasury, as of right now, it's 2.05%. I think 30-year mortgages are going to go down to 3.5%. Now, you agree with me, Stephen Meister, you don't, do you? Have you come my way of thinking?
I think it's still going to be very hard to get it below 4%.
I think they're going to go down. I don't think it's going to help a refinance situation.
All right, so we have a standoff. Okay. I say 3.5% this fall. You say tough to get it below 4%. But he's only about 4.1 now.
That's right. Yeah. We're close.
All right, you're on videotape.
Close to me eating crow.
I don't think so. Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney has come out with his version of a jobs plan. The former governor says it's a 59-point plan. It will create 11 million new jobs and bring unemployment rate down to 6%. Is that realistic? Is that sort of pie in the sky? Economic advisor to Mitt Romney, former Senator Jim Talent, joins the company. Well, that's the obvious question, sir. 11 million new jobs, 6% unemployment. I don't know what the time frame is, but that's a pretty lofty goal, isn't it?
Well, first 4 years is the time frame, and the plan does a lot of things your last commentator was talking about. There are 3 energy proposals in the plan alone, which will create 1.6 million jobs. Just build the Keystone pipeline, explore for the shale natural gas, and open up drilling offshore. I mean, this can really be an energy-led recovery. Yeah, it's a dramatic plan and offered by a guy who knows of what he speaks, because he has experience creating jobs.
But, you know, first thing this morning, I opened up the Wall Street Journal, looked at the editorial page, and they're calling it a timid proposal. That's the word they use. They say it is timid, and it's a technocrat's response to the jobs problem. They see things differently, don't they?
Well, yeah, well, I like what the Club for Growth said. They said it was an excellent plan. They really liked it. I don't know if the Journal was reading the same plan I was reading. I mean, this is dramatic cap gains, dividend reform, cuts in the corporate income tax, repeal Dodd-Frank, an immediate waiver from Obamacare for all 50 states. I mean, on the one hand, people say, well, can he really do it? Can he create 11 million jobs? On the other hand, they say it's tepid. No. But, Stuart, the real key is this is a man who knows what he's talking about and knows how to communicate these ideas so we can get them done. And I'd urge your viewers to, you know, go on the computer and watch how he presented this plan. I mean, he's comfortable talking about these ideas because he's done this in the private sector.
After 4 years of President Obama, I think leading us towards government involvement in the economy, big-time government involvement, I think you would agree with me that the next president, if we really want to get this economy going, has to completely change direction. Does
That's right.
Does Mitt Romney's plan really change the direction of our economy towards private enterprise and rigorously away from government? Does it do that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fundamental shift in direction, and you're right. Everything you've been saying about the Obama plan, more of the same, more government. This is the opposite. This is getting government off the backs of the free enterprise sector, and it's offered by a guy who can beat Obama by the biggest possible margin, bring in the most possible votes with him, and then win the debate on these issues. And again, I just invite people to watch his presentation of this. He is eager to advocate for these things as president.
All right, Jim Talent, we appreciate you taking your time today to be with us this morning. Thanks very much indeed, Jim. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
I've been saying that it feels like we are in recession. Feels like. But economist Chris Rupke says there is no recession and we should not be talking ourselves into one. Chris has the nerve to sit here in New York across the set from me and disagree with me. Welcome.
Sorry, sir. Glad to be here.
Let's get things clear now.
Yes.
You say we are not in a recession now.
Not technically, no.
Oh, well, what does that mean?
I mean, I guess they could revise the data a little bit, but traditionally what happens is that non-farm payroll jobs, they were 0 on Friday, they have to go down 3 months in a row. Once they're down 3 months in a row, we know that we went into a recession maybe 2 months earlier.
And you don't think that's going to happen?
I don't think so. It has to be a pretty big headwind out there. I know the people had daylight scared out of them earlier this year. The debt ceiling, one of my neighbors was saying, was there money safe in the bank if the U.S. government defaults? I think people were plenty scared, but, you know, things look pretty good in July, and now we have just 1 month of tepid jobs. But 1 month isn't enough.
Where's the growth going to come from? How are we... Look, let's suppose we can agree that we're dead flat right now. We're not contracting the economy, we're not growing it. Well, we want to grow it.
Yes.
And if we're going to get out of this mess, we've got to grow it. Where does the growth come from?
I think there's a natural tendency, there's pent-up demand out there. Another way to look at it is what's going to drag us down. You know, when we went into recession, housing starts were way up in the sky. Now they're at dead 0. They can't fall anymore, dragging down the economy. Car sales are only 12 million annual rate. Pre-Lehman, they were 16, 17 million. I think there's pent-up demand. I tried to buy a car yesterday. I couldn't. All
right. What do you make of the president's plan? If what we hear is correct, that it's going to be extend jobless benefits, extend the payroll tax holiday, $50 billion for infrastructure, some aid to the states. If that's it, and there's no surprises, that's it, that doesn't do it, does it?
It sounds like it's not enough, but you know, basically we were just saying a couple months ago that the administration, that Congress is out of bullets when it comes to fiscal
come on,
spending.
Chris, you can't be wishy-washy about this kind of stuff. You're an economist.
It's probably not enough to do it, but we may not need it. The economy may regain momentum without anything from the Fed, without anything from Congress or the administration.
Let's suppose we're looking for agreement here.
Okay.
Would you agree that America looks increasingly like Europe? Very low growth, very high unemployment, taxes rising, cradle-to-grave security. We're much more European these days. You'd agree with that?
Well, you know, the population is still growing with immigration 1% per year. I mean, that puts a floor under growth. I'm pretty optimistic about the prospects looking forward if we can just get rid of this latest headwind of the financial market turbulence. Look, stocks are up today.
Are you a
What's
Democrat?
Not to like?
Are you a Democrat? Do you look to the left?
I have to stay independent because I work on a trading desk and we have mixed feelings across the floor. So I'm always neutral.
Always neutral.
Fairly much. So we'll see in the next election.
Chris Rupke, it was a pleasure. Thanks so much for coming on today. We do appreciate it, sir. Thank you. Let's get back to Nicole. General Motors, the taxpayers' auto company, if I can describe it like that, Chris. The stock price, please.
Well, it's looking great today compared to yesterday. We stood on this show and talked about the fact that it was at a low since the IPO. You can see it here at $22.19. Yesterday, it hit the all-time low since the IPO of $20.88. So today, Citigroup came out and it put them on the top picks live list. In addition to the fact that one of the heads of one of the divisions over there was talking about doubling growth over in India. So our taxpayers, auto company, is that what you call it? Looking good.
Okay.
It's not at $53 though. That's where we really need it to be. But 22 today.
I've got the Dow now up about the highs of the day, roughly up 170 points. I'm saying that that is a bounce back after 3 big days of losses, plus a little bit of good news maybe from Europe. Anything else?
Absolutely. I think a lot of traders are just tired of selling, too. They just thought that the trend continued to the upside, and so we're trying to get back on that.
Okay, 170 points high. Thanks, Nicole. Anybody want to chime in? Any other reasons? Modest news out of Europe, bounce back after 3 days of losses?
I think that the situation in Germany and supporting the bailout there is buoying the market.
Just to straighten out our viewers, a German court ruled today that Germany could indeed bail out the Greeks if they so desire, and if Parliament says okay. Right. That's taken as a green light. Go ahead, bail them out, right?
Right.
That's good news. It's good news.
It's good news for the equities.
I guess so. All right, once again, I want to show you a picture of the richest man in China. His name is Liang Wengen. Now, without going on Google, can you guess what business he is in? Some of our viewers have guessed he's in the Chinese auto industry. That is wrong. We'll give you the correct answer later in the program. He's worth $11 billion. What does he do? Next, bankrupt solar companies that got $500 million of taxpayer money just for one of them. Talking about that. And babysitting gets state-mandated lunch breaks. Has the world gone mad? Yes. The judge, though, is next.
Remembering 9/11, John looks at the price of the war on terror, what freedoms we lost, and the truth about Homeland Security. Plus, we salute those who are giving back with guest Gary Sinise, Remembering 9/11, on a special edition of Stossel.
With the unstable economy and massive federal deficits, investors are flocking to gold and silver. If you've considered buying gold, even if you've already purchased, you can't afford to miss this opportunity. For a limited time, Merit Financial is offering some of our most popular coins and bullion at 1% over dealer cost. Are you interested in gold eagles, bars, or Krugerrands? All 1% over dealer cost. Do you buy Swiss francs, British sovereigns, or Austrian ducats elsewhere? If so, you probably pay more than 1% over dealer cost. If that's not enough, we're pleased to offer free insured delivery on your first order. For a limited time, new customers will receive fully insured delivery of gold and silver anywhere in the USA with absolutely no shipping and handling charge. So call the number on your screen now and find out what the other companies don't want you to know. Our expert staff is standing by. So call now and never forget the Merit Guarantee. The right gold at the right price, right away.
This is making your 2 cents count. This is unmatched experience and knowledge. It's savvy business know-how needed to succeed. This is business in America. This is Fox Business, Early Prime.
I pronounce this a rally. We're at the highs of the day right now, up 174 points. The Dow has lost nearly 500 over the past previous session, so we're just bouncing back a little. By the way, Germany gets the go-ahead in court to contribute huge money to the European bailout package. That's considered good news. That's helping the stock market rally here, surprise, surprise. However, look at gold. We're down $64 an ounce, all the way back to 1809. We're above 1900 yesterday, not there today. The price of oil is up nearly $2 a barrel. Real movement there. 88 is the number to watch. And we're all waiting for President Obama's job speech before Congress tomorrow evening. It's expected to be more of the same. Payroll tax cut extension, unemployment benefits, spending on infrastructure projects. Price tag, $300 billion reportedly. That good for you, do you think? 90 seconds, the judge. $1 per barrel. Check the price of gasoline. Regular down a penny overnight, everyone. $3.65. Gallon of diesel steady at $3.90. Later this hour, Michael Strahan joins us, and I will certainly wow him with my personal knowledge of professional American football. He's back.
Gotta be kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. I know a lot about football.
All right.
I was shocked, Mr. Strahan. All right. Now, I want to talk to you about subsidies, Judge.
Yes.
As you know, Solyndra, whilst you were on vacation, Solyndra went bankrupt. It had taken $500 million of taxpayer money. It says it went bankrupt, went belly up, because other governments in other parts of the world were offering even bigger subsidies for solar companies. Now, look, I know you hate subsidies, case closed, but you've got to admit, we're in an international subsidy competition here, aren't we?
More than hating subsidies, I hate violations of your favorite document, the Constitution. Where in the Constitution is the federal government authorized to pick an industry, to choose a company, and to guarantee its loans? That $500 million bankruptcy is on the backs of the taxpayers, because somebody in the Obama administration chose this industry and this company to play with federal dollars. If individual investors had put their money in there and they were willing to take the chance of losing that money, that's their right to do with their money. But when the government does it with taxpayer dollars, the Constitution doesn't authorize it.
What about the General Welfare Clause? Devil's advocate for a minute.
The General Welfare Clause is a restraint on the government's power, and it requires that every nickel the government spend be for the benefit of the general welfare. It doesn't let them spend on welfare.
Doesn't create a power.
No, it doesn't create a power. It restrains the power. How did they decide to choose this? Because it's a green company? Because they thought it would do well? Because they thought it could sell overseas? They were wrong, and we'll pay the price.
And there's no accountability for it whatsoever.
Did you hear the president apologize for the $500 million he just lost? No.
I think there is an investigation, congressional investigation being run into this. Mr. Upton, I believe, is running the investigation to see if there was any collusion between Obama financiers, people who support Obama financially, and the company, Solyndra itself. And there is a connection.
Even if it was as pure as the driven snow, the decision to give a $500 million loan guarantee to this company, the government shouldn't be in that business. Only the free market can create prosperity, and not government-backed up loans.
He's back, everybody. Great.
And only a product that's supportable by the free market is sustainable.
Correct. If there's no demand for the product, then all the government stimulus packages in the world are not going to make that a saleable good.
Judge, we're so happy that you're back that we're going to ask you to stay right there. We want to get your take on a proposal in California that says your nanny has to get a half-hour lunch break. Are you going to discuss that, whether you like it or not, after this?
FoxBusiness.com. For all the business information you need right now, giving you the power to prosper.
Monaco Rare Coins has just discovered a hoard of absolutely stunning, original, mint condition Morgan silver dollars. The Morgan silver dollar are the most collected U.S. rare coin in existence. The 1917 Pittman Act destroyed most all silver and gold coins that were in treasury vaults at the time. We're very excited to have discovered this hoard because they're so limited in numbers today in this kind of condition. Original mint condition is what we're looking at on these particular hoard. You've got an opportunity today to literally buy these coins for pennies on the dollar in relation to where they've traded at in the past years.
Now you can purchase 20 certified brilliant uncirculated Morgan silver dollars from Monaco and receive the 21st coin for only $1.
Take advantage of this introductory offer. These coins are over 100 years old. Once you hold one of these original mint condition, gem quality coins in your hands, history just comes alive. Give us a call at Monaco Rare Coins and reserve yours today.
Hey, can I have the toys?
Sure, but let me get a little information first. For broccoli, say 1. For toys, say 2.
Toys.
The system can't process your response at this time.
What?
Please call back between 8 and 5 Central Standard Time.
He's in control.
Goodbye.
Even kids know it's wrong to give someone the runaround. At Ally Bank, you never have to deal with an endless automated system. You can talk to a real person 24/7. It's just the right thing to do.
Gone, got my last paycheck. Gone away. Gone, like my landlord's smile. Gone away. My baby's gone away.
With dedicated claim specialists and around-the-clock service, Travelers can help make things better quicker. Will your auto and home insurer be there when you need them most? For an agent or quote, call 800-MY-COVERAGE or visit Travelers.com.
Sitting in the rear seat, you can chill your drinks, get a massage, put your feet up, and watch DVDs. Sitting in the rear seat, there's really only one thing you can't do. Drive.
Attention Medicare beneficiaries. Do you have breathing problems like asthma, chronic bronchitis, emphysema, or COPD? Then you may qualify for Medicare coverage of your respiratory medications. To see if you qualify, call Med4Home. Med4Home is a specialty pharmacy. They offer a wide variety of respiratory medications, which may be covered under your Medicare Part B benefits. Let Med4Home's team of experts work for you. They'll work directly with your doctor. They'll deliver right to your home and call you monthly for refills and to see how you're doing. Best of all, they'll handle the Medicare paperwork for you. It's so easy. And if you have supplemental insurance, there may be little or no out-of-pocket expense. Let Med4Home's team of experts work for you. Call Med4Home now to see if you qualify. For more information, call 1-800-213-5661. That's 1-800-213-5661.
It's a rally. 173 points, 174 points higher for the Dow Industrials. It's a sell-off. Look at gold. Down, way down. We're off $75. That is a sell-off, down 77. Now we're below 1,800. That's a big sell-off. We're up 200, down 100 in the space of, what, 36 hours, 48 hours? Extraordinary. But please remember, we do start at 9:15 Eastern here on Varney & Company. If you weren't here for the first 45 minutes, you missed this unusual exchange with Congresswoman Cynthia Lummis.
You're on a roll this morning. I was listening to you earlier talking about your gold and your currencies. I think you had a little too much coffee this morning, Stuart.
All right, Congresswoman, give it to him.
You're right. I am on a roll, Congresswoman. Unfortunately, my gold is rolling downhill. I just lost my shirt this morning. See what you missed? Remember, we start at 9:15 Eastern. A proposal in California that says your nanny has to get a half-hour lunch break right at the judge has some strong feelings about this. Do you not?
Well, this is the government intruding directly into the privacy of the home. This is the legislature of the state of California attempting to regulate the relationship between a person who cleans your home and cares for your children and you. Why can't that be a free market, freely negotiated for relationship?
Okay, well, it's not.
Why should the government come into your house to decide whether or not the nanny is getting 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep? Suppose the kid gets sick at 3 in the morning. You wake up the nanny to help you clean up the kid getting sick, and the government's going to fine you for it? Is that America?
It's called labor laws.
It's called government intruding where it has no right to be, in the sanctity of the home. What's wrong with the free market? What's wrong with the nanny negotiating with the owner of the home?
Should there be no labor laws at all?
No.
The free market should regulate.
No labor
the
laws. Did you say
relationship
that?
between employees
I
and
think,
employers.
I think that a person who doesn't want to take a job is under no obligation to do so. There shouldn't be a minimum wage law, because if you want to work for $4 an hour, you should be able to. And if you want to take a nanny job without a break, you should be able to. And if you want to say, I'm not taking the job unless I get a break, you could say that.
Well, you can if you're under 18.
And
that's a problem.
That's right.
One of the reasons we have such high unemployment is because people simply won't pay those high minimum wages. So is it better to work for $4 an hour, or is it better not to work at all?
No, it's better to live on the government.
It's a lawyer's charter.
Yes, it is.
People
And
like
I
you are going to
condemn it
make
for
all the money.
Could you imagine me representing one of those folks? Of course not. Put aside my own views.
30% of the winnings, yeah, you would.
Put aside my own views. It will be a bonanza for the plaintiffs' bar. And
will.
what they will do is file class actions. So they will represent thousands and thousands of unnamed nannies, and the lawyers will get huge fees, and the nannies will get a 25-cent an hour increase.
What about those nannies who are illegals? Will they come forward? What's their position?
I think they probably will come forward for a payday.
They can sue.
They can sue under this legislation.
It's terrible, isn't it?
It's terrible.
Not that the illegals come forward and sue. That's not the point.
No. It's terrible that the government wants to regulate every aspect of our lives. Could you imagine the government saying, you didn't let your nanny sleep long enough, so we're going to fine you? How is the public good served by that?
I'm with you all.
We'll kill nanny jobs. That's what's going to happen, just like the minimum wage.
Or they'll
law
need
does.
two of them, so maybe it'll create jobs, because they'll need two of them.
Well, what are you going to do with the children when the nanny is taking her half-hour or 1-hour lunch break?
You're required to hire another nanny.
Yeah, and who's going to monitor that?
I'll bet you somebody in California says this is a job creation plan. I'll bet you somebody's going to say that.
That's probably the way they'll sell it to that nut job that's the governor.
On that note, you don't want to miss Freedom Watch every night, prime time, 8 p.m. Eastern, and repeat it if you can stand it at 11 o'clock Eastern.
If you can stand it.
Fox Business. Thanks, Judge.
Pleasure, Stuart.
Next, the definitive interview on the kickoff of the NFL season. Myself and Michael Strahan going one-on-one. I will amaze him with my knowledge of American football. Do not miss this, ladies and gentlemen.
From the president's job plan to the efforts to cut our bloated budget at a critical time for America's economy, one primetime team is getting insight for business owners and investors on Fox Business.
Imagine purchasing gold and silver from a volume dealer at 0% above dealer cost. Discount Gold Brokers is making your dream a reality. Zero commissions, fees, or expenses. 0% above dealer cost. Live traders are standing by right now to take your order. No minimum. 888-200-9001. Why pay more than zero above dealer cost on bullion purchases? 888-200-9001. Ask about our IRA programs. 888-200-9001 now.
Each of these photos was taken by someone on the first morning of their retirement. It's the first of more than 6,000 sunrises the average retiree will see. As we're living longer than ever before, Prudential's challenge is to help everyone have the retirement income they'll need to enjoy every one of their days. Prudential. Bring your challenges.
The whisper of dreams untold. Experience excellence on a whole new level. For life on a whole new scale.
Excellence in flight. Korean Air.
You know those lucky dogs who have that perfect amount of gray hair that everyone loves? Now you can be one of them. Touch of Gray. Combs away a little gray without getting rid of it all. Touch of Gray. Get the best of both.
Guys, pay attention. How would you like to have an extra 2 inches? If your height makes you feel overlooked at work or embarrassed because you're shorter than your date, now you can level the playing field with Max Tall. The revolutionary ultra-comfortable shoe inserts that give you inches in height so you can look taller instantly. With the deluxe version, you can go from 5'9" to over 6 feet. Max Tall's durable one-size-fits-all design and multiple adjustable levels let you go from a 1/4 inch to almost 3 inches instantly, and they're completely invisible. No one will know you're wearing them. The secret is Max Tall's exclusive orthogel material. Other rigid lifts are uncomfortable and your foot can easily slip out of your shoe. But Max Tall molds to your foot and heel to create vacuum action that ensures your heel will always stay in your shoe. Poor Mike is 5'9", and Cindy isn't paying attention to him at all. But with Max Toll in his shoes, Mike is nearly 6 feet tall, and Cindy likes what she sees. Max Toll is one size fits all and is perfect for work and play, for men and women. Statistics prove being taller means more confidence, more attention, and more success. Call right now and order your Max Toll inserts for the incredibly low price of $19.99. But wait! On this exclusive offer, we'll send you a second set of Max Toll absolutely free. That's 2 Max Toll inserts for just $19.99. That's right, 2 pairs of Max Toll inserts for just $19.99. And don't forget to ask our operators about free shipping. But you have to call now.
To order Max Toll, have your credit card ready and call 1-800-967-0339. That's 1-800-967-0339.
Let's go straight to Nicole for 2 reasons. First of all, gold prices took a huge hit today. How far down, Nicole?
Right now, we're at 1,800 even. We were down below 1,800 earlier. You were noting the volatility that we've seen in gold, right? From 1,900 down to 1,700. We were, right, going back up again. And here we're now down $71 in one day. This is why this morning when we talked about the market open, I said risk on. It's a risk on day, which means that everybody's buying up the equities. You have 483 names in the S&P 500 higher. People are taking risk today and taking money out of gold.
By the way, Nicole Pedalides, a German court today said that Germany can bail out Greece.
That's right.
And I understand there's one huge celebration in Greece right now. I think the stock market or bank stocks, they're way up. Bank stocks up 17% in Greece right now. You're celebrating down there?
I'm celebrating. I've had the Ouzo and the Spanakopita. No, but let's look at National Bank of Greece. That's your staple to take a look at how that's faring.
Yeah, don't you have to? Do you break plates or something?
We do. We throw money in the air.
Really?
That's what you would do, right?
Oh,
don't
absolutely.
You throw money. You go to the
National
bar,
Bank of Greece. Let's show it. Look at that.
You do that,
10%.
and you get a stack. You get to give $20 or $50, Stuart. And while you dance or I dance, you go like this. This is how you do it. You put the stack of money in singles, and you go like this. And the money's flying.
Really?
The plates are breaking, and you could even take some flowers off the table.
I want an invitation, Nicole, okay? Right now, I got to move on. Right now, look at this. The yield on the 10-year Treasury just above at 2%, 202, 203. 204 is where we are now. All right, Stephen, you said earlier that we should have higher interest rates, that is in the best interest of the economy, to raise interest rates.
Or at least that we will be raising them at some point in the knowable future.
Well, tell me how that's good.
Because right now, you see from the gold price, it has dropped today, but up at $1,800, and Treasury interest rates on the long-term 10-year bond at about 2%. Money's being plowed into those 2 investments. Those are unproductive investments. And what we need to do is have strength in the dollar. And since interest is really rent on money, okay, what really is happening is the dollar is sliding from the weak dollar policy, and investors are saying, let's put money overseas, or businesses are investing overseas, because then they can earn their profits in foreign currencies, and when they repatriate them, they bring them back at a cheaper dollar. So until we start to strengthen the dollar, we won't have that $2 trillion corporate America is sitting on invested in only the private sector to create the jobs.
It's not going to happen. But do you think that Ben Bernanke is going to allow or say, I think it's about time rates went up?
He should. And another thing that would help in the same connection are moratoriums on regulations.
Yeah, okay. But do you think the stock market...
I don't think Bernanke can.
I don't think he
can't.
If he said that, if he comes out at some speech, he's got a speech tomorrow, by the way. If he came out and said, you know, it's about time interest rates went up, what do you think would happen to the stock market? Surely it would go down.
I think there would be, but Stuart, there's a difference between the stock market and job creation.
Right.
Don't think that if the equities goes down, that means jobs aren't being created. We need to focus on job creation, not necessarily on goosing the stock market up.
I agree, but I think it's going to create a panic and a fear if he raises interest rates, period.
It's not going to happen, though. I mean, I just can't...
I disagree. I think when we say that the interest rates are going to be held for 2 years at near zero, we are destroying the dollar and thwarting job creation. That is my position.
Very articulate of you too, Stephen Meister. That's very interesting. That's the contrarian's position. We don't hear that very often. Back to the big board briefly. Up 145 points right now. We had been up 170. But that's still a rally by any standard. Bearing in mind that we're coming off the worst opening to any September in the history of the United States stock market. We were down very, very sharply every trading day in September, and now I'm going to call this a modest bounce back. 144 points up as we speak. Now, what you've all been waiting for. The NFL season. Well, it does start tomorrow, of course. Joining us now is Michael Strahan, former New York Giant and current NFL analyst for Fox Sports. Michael, do you remember me?
I do remember. How could I forget that accent, Stuart?
Exactly. And of course, you and everybody else in this room, in this studio, you all think that I know absolutely nothing about football. I know that's what you think, and I'm going to prove you completely wrong. Hear me out. I think that the winner of the Super Bowl this year will be the New York Jets. Am I on the ball or what?
Stuart, you absolutely know nothing about football.
Okay, next one.
Who fed you that note?
Nobody. I know that the New York Jets are a fine team. I know these things. Okay, now listen to this.
Okay.
The finest quarterback in the NFL at the moment is a gentleman called Aaron Rodgers. I believe he does definitely play for the Packers. He is the best quarterback in the NFL, isn't he?
That is up for debate, but I would put him definitely in the top 3.
Okay.
You're impressing me. You're getting better. You're getting warmer.
Now, listen to this one. The best defensive end in the NFL at the moment, in my opinion, is DeMarcus Ware. Plays for the Cowboys, I believe. And as I understand it, I think he's going to break your record for a single-season sacks. Am I right or am I right?
He is linebacker, defensive end. He and Julius Peppers are my favorite. DeMarcus had 20 sacks a few years ago, and he is one of the nicest guys I've ever met. So if he were to break my record, I would gladly hand it to him.
And by the way, you set that record when you sacked Brett Favre, as I recall. But in my personal opinion, Brett took a tumble for you, didn't he?
Stuart, who's ever feed you these notes, I'm going to beat them up after I beat you up. How about that?
But I might like that, Michael. Okay, now, Andre Johnson. This is the last one. I promise this is the last one. Andre Johnson.
Go ahead.
Houston Texans, I believe he plays for. He's the best wide receiver in the NFL right now, is he not?
Yes. Game changer. Love him.
Okay.
You're good, Stuart.
How about... Now you've got me, because I don't know the names of any of the football players. Now, Bud Light, you are representing them, I think. What are you doing with them?
Well, I'm here having fun with Bud Light to kick off the NFL season. It's their first season of being the official sponsor for the NFL. And they have a fan camp, which is a traveling training camp. They're going to go to 60 cities starting this month, over the next 15 weeks to 60 cities. So that fans have a little bit of an interaction. It's kind of like training camp with a Bud Light twist. And also they have the ultimate fan experience, which you can go to facebook.com/Bud Light and have an opportunity to win Super Bowl tickets, Pro Bowl tickets, NFL draft tickets, and also season tickets for the 2012 season to whichever team you want. So I suggest you go on facebook.com/Bud Light, Stuart, win some tickets so you can go and watch the team and figure out what you're talking about.
What do you mean, figure out what I'm talking about? But you enjoyed it, didn't you? This was the best 3 minutes in television that you're going to do today, isn't it?
You know, I agree with you. You know, I agree with you. And you actually, you weren't far off. You did a pretty good job. Pretty good job.
Thank you, Michael Strahan. Look, anytime you want to come on Varney & Company, you are a very welcome guest. You're an all-round great guy, and we really appreciate you being with us today. Thanks, Michael.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Good luck, sir. All right, what do you think to that? Do I know football or do I know football?
You know football. You know
very
football.
Impressive.
Yeah, very impressive, wasn't it? Marcus DeWare, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, DeMarcus Ware.
You just renamed him. It's okay.
I do know football. Okay.
Did you know that Bud Light spent twice as much as Coors Light to get that?
Really?
Yeah, absolutely they did.
It's a very valuable connection, I guess.
Yep.
Interesting. Bud Light. Okay. And I believe Michael is a Fox Sports guy nowadays, right? He's a commentator on the NFL. This is starting out? Yes. Yes, on all counts.
Yes.
Right. Did my job. Moving on. Are the financial stocks feeling the squeeze from short sellers? And if so, which ones? If you sell short, you're betting that a stock goes down. Which stocks are people betting will go down? You'll find out next.
He was the most productive chief engraver in U.S. history, crafting more coin and metal designs than any other engraver since the Mint's founding in 1793. An illustrator and sculptor, entrusted with creating our nation's most precious coins and medals.
Hi, I'm John Mercanti, 12th Chief Engraver of the U.S. Mint. Over my 37 years of service with the Mint, I put great care into sculpting beautiful, lasting designs that honor important leaders, events, and milestones in America's history. I'm very proud to be part of the exclusive fraternity of Chief Engravers.
Whether you are diversifying your portfolio, investing for profit, or completing a coin collection, you can turn to a trusted leader.
And that's why I recommend only one company for precious metals, Goldline.
Goldline, a company serving investors for over 50 years. Call today and get your free investor kit and learn why you should add gold to your portfolio. Call now.
Learn what thousands of traders already know. eSignal Advanced Get Edition has won Best Trading System for stocks and futures for more than 10 years. Advanced Get can help you make money in today's markets by giving you clear buy-sell indicators that are available nowhere else. With Advanced Get, analyzing the market is simple. Just scan, chart, and trade. Take the emotion out of trading. Use Advanced Get. Call now to get free access to a short video with a simple trading strategy you can start using today. Call 800-826-8656.
You have to call it a solid rally. Right now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 153 points. Oh, that's a pretty modest bounce back after 3 straight days of big losses. We had a German court saying Germany can spend big money to bail out broke European countries. Apparently, that's good news. And when investors buy stocks, they tend to sell gold, and that's what they're doing. Gold is down 66 bucks an ounce, just above 1,800 as of right now. Oil up more than $2 a barrel today. The number to watch is 88. That's the number, price per barrel. Yahoo fires unceremoniously CEO Carol Bartz. The stock, though, is up big. Maybe not a slap at Bartz, maybe it's hopes that the company will be taken over. 3 years ago, Microsoft offered 31, I think it was 31 bucks a share. That was a few years ago. Now it's at 13. A bargain, right? Management shakeup at B of A. 2 executives out. The stock is up.
You've reached the age where you don't back down from a challenge. This is the age of knowing how to make things happen. So why would you let something like erectile dysfunction get in your way? Isn't it time you talk to your doctor about Viagra? 20 million men already have. With every age comes responsibility. Ask your doctor if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Viagra if you take nitrates for chest pain, as it may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects may include headache, flushing, upset stomach, and abnormal vision. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. Stop taking Viagra and call your doctor right away if you experience a sudden decrease or loss in vision or hearing. This is the age of taking action. Viagra. Talk to your doctor. See if America's most prescribed ED treatment is right for you.
Are you being audited? Do you have several years of unfiled tax returns? Is the IRS sending you threatening letters or coming to your home or place of business? Hello, I'm Patrick Cox, founder of TaxMasters. At TaxMasters, we help solve your tax problems. Listen, don't take on the IRS by yourself. Our former IRS agents and tax professionals have helped many good people just like you. Don't wait any longer. Call right now to get started today.
TaxMasters, we solve your tax problems. Call 1-866-774-2123.
Stuart Varney tonight on Freedom Watch. On the eve of the president's economic speech, Senator Rand Paul tells us what's in his plan for economic recovery. He probably won't include any stimulus money. Would you, Stu? That and more tonight on Freedom Watch.
Well, you know, to some people it seems like 2008 all over again. Short sellers, they are betting against the big banks. They're betting against them big time. Joining us now is John Tobacco of LocateStock.com. John, first of all, you are not a short seller.
Correct.
You simply line up stocks which can be sold short for your customers. That's what you do, right?
Yes.
So you're not the one who's beating them down. You're just arranging the short sales, which
I'm not the
beat them
evil
down.
short seller.
You're not the bad guy.
I'm the friend of the evil short seller.
Am I right in saying that some people are really betting heavily against the banks, pushing the stocks down, betting the stocks keep going down? Which bank in particular?
Over the last few months, we've certainly seen a concentration of short sellers that are focusing on the financials. More often than not, we've seen the financials that are the banks that are being focused on, and it's been primarily Bank of America because they seem to be mired in uncertainty. People just can't figure out what their true liabilities out there, and it seems like management is sending out a whole bunch of different signals. You also have Citigroup and Deutsche Bank.
Yeah, I've got them on the screen. Bank of America, Citigroup, Deutsche Bank. In order, they are the stocks that people want to short more than others, right? And B of A's right out there as the outstanding stock.
Certainly over the last 6 months, those are the three that we've seen short sellers most focused on.
Now, Stephen, you know a little bit about this too. These banks are being sued over loans they made, mortgage loans that they made. Can you explain it real fast?
Over loans that they made, affordable housing loans that they made and sold to Fannie and Freddie. FHFA, Federal Housing Administration, is the conservator for Fannie and Freddie, and they're suing for alleged misrepresentations about those loans. What's so horrible about it and unjust about it is that for years the federal government prosecuted banks. Janet Reno did this, and Eric Holder is doing it today against Citizens United for not making enough of these loans. So what the federal government is doing is suing the banks for selling them loans they previously sued them for not making enough of.
And all the banks on our screen, especially B of A and Citi, they're being sued, right?
The best quote was, when you have a regulator suing on behalf of the parties it regulates, that's bad news.
Now, John, are people saying or suggesting that these suits will drive these banks out of business? Is that what they're betting on?
You know what the problem is? It just creates this aura of uncertainty for retail investors. You kind of have Bank of America in a position right now where they can't get out from underneath this countrywide acquisition. They have all these lawsuits against them, and they just don't see an end in sight. They don't know when they'll be settled. They actually had a settlement that they made, and then it was revoked. So each time they think they took a step forward, they actually take 2 or 3 steps back. Then you have management out there saying, we don't need to raise money. And then a week later, they go out and borrow $5 billion from Warren Buffett. They're paying like $300 million a year in interest, which is about 15% of what they lost last year. So management is sending out mixed signals, and that brings in short sellers.
Got it. Hey, John Tobacco, we thank you very much for being back with us today. Long time no see, but coming in soon.
Yeah,
thanks, John. The funniest moment on the show happened before the market even opened, and it is in the highlight reel. To answer the question which we asked in our last hour, this is the richest man in China. His name is Liang Wengen. We asked you to guess, what line of business is he in? Is it tech? Is it banking? Well, no, he's not in either of those areas. The answer is, he's the chairman of the Saney Group. That is a heavy equipment and digger maker. He's worth $11 billion. That's the way Americans used to get rich, isn't it?
That's right. Today, the regulation and the environment and the taxes here are not conducive to manufacturing.
No, it's not that. We've just moved on. We're a high-tech society these days, not a heavy equipment maker.
Why not both?
Well, that's a good question. Here it is, the highlight reel. Roll it, please.
It's much of the same down here on Wall Street. We have one firm on the floor that I know of, Doreen Mogavero and Lee, but it's predominantly men. I mean, look over here. It's all men. And you see this lovely woman? She's a visitor. She doesn't work there.
This can really be an energy-led recovery. Yeah, it's a dramatic plan and offered by a guy who knows of what he speaks because he has experience creating jobs.
I think people were plenty scared, but, you know, things look pretty good in July, and now we have just 1 month of tepid jobs. 1 month isn't enough.
I think that the winner of the Super Bowl this year will be the New York Jets. Am I on the ball or what?
Stuart, you absolutely know nothing about football. Who's ever feed you these notes, I'm going to beat them up after I beat you up. How about that?
But I might like that, Michael. All right, totally separately now. Imagine having to come home at lunchtime to relieve the babysitter, so the babysitter can have a lunch break. We'll talk to a leader of a nanny organization who says, we don't need no lunch breaks. It's enough to outrage even Mr. Belvedere. Remember him?
Never mattered before.
okay. When you drop kicked your jacket as you came through the door. No, I'm glad, but sometimes things get turned around and no one's spare.
Imagine purchasing gold and silver from a volume dealer at 0% above dealer cost. Discount Gold Brokers is making your dream a reality. Zero commissions, fees, or expenses. 0% above dealer cost. Live traders are standing by right now to take your order. No minimum. 888-200-9001. Why pay more than zero above dealer cost on bullion purchases? 888-200-9001. Ask about our IRA programs. 888-200-9001 now.
I just wanna be okay, be okay, be okay. I just wanna be okay today. I just wanna know today, know today, know today. Know that maybe I will be okay. Know that maybe
Travelers can help you protect the things you care about and save money with multi-policy discounts. Are you getting the coverage you need and the discounts you deserve? For an agent or quote, call 800-MY-COVERAGE or visit travelers.com.
Sitting in the rear seat, you can chill your drinks, get a massage, put your feet up, and watch DVDs. Sitting in the rear seat, there's really only one thing you can't do. Drive. The Equus from Hyundai.
must have been one of the strangest days.
Everyone may face the same uncertainty.
Some would say that you won't find.
Protecting yourself, however, requires good decisions. Find strength and stability with MassMutual, a company owned by its policyholders. Ask your advisor or visit massmutual.com.
More now on the law pending in California to give nannies mandatory a lunch break. Joining the company is Susan Tokea. She is the co-president of the International Nanny Association. Susan, welcome to the program. You don't want this law, do you?
Thank you for having me, first of all, Stuart. And no, we're not for this bill
Why
at all.
not? Don't you want to make sure that nannies, they work hard, they get a lunch break, all the rest of it? You don't want to do that?
We want all workers to get all of the rights that they deserve, and nannies included. However, the way this bill is written, it would impose a lot of complications for the families that hire them, and it really wouldn't help the nannies in the end.
So if I had a nanny and I was in California and I had to give her a lunch break,
Right.
who's supposed to look after the kids whilst she is on her lunch break?
That's a good question. We're proposing that nannies do what they've been doing forever, which is have lunch with the children. That's their
And that's not good enough
break.
for Senator Amiano.
No, he wants them to actually be able to leave the premises, as I understand it, and have someone come in and take over.
Go on.
Susan, isn't this going to, if it were passed, kill nanny jobs? Because what's going to happen is some couples are going to say, we just can't deal with this, we can't afford it, we can't afford the workman's comp and all these other benefits, and then you end up losing jobs.
Well, I think that's right. Basically, people may end up putting their children in daycare because there's too many rules and regulations, and now this bill, if it were passed, would give nannies the right to sue as well.
Oh, there you have it. That's the whole ball of wax, isn't it? The right to sue and have a payday.
Right.
Supposing I hire a nanny just for a half day, then what?
So any domestic worker that's hired for even a few hours now would be required to have workman's compensation. Already, homeowners insurance covers workman's comp for a temporary
So
person.
it's an added cost.
So it's an added...
Just for a half-day work.
It's an added cost that's not necessary.
All right, Susan.
Isn't daycare already so expensive?
This
is
yes.
outrageous.
Yes.
And
Thank
it
you.
is very expensive already, and this would add to the cost. Absolutely.
Susan Tokea, you had the last word, and it was a good one. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you
we
for
really
having me.
appreciate it.
Thank
you,
you.
Susan. Come and get and see us when this thing is determined. In
Oh,
California.
I'd love to.
We want to hear about it. Okay. And thanks very much to Stephen and to Tanya for working so hard on the show today. We all appreciate you one and